So, you've got a motor that's giving you grief. Maybe it's a capacitor start motor. What is it, you ask? It's a type of electric motor. It needs called a capacitor. Gives this help. Think of it like a very important for starting. It gets the motor spinning fast, right from the beginning. These motors are real workhorses. They are tough. They do hard work. The capacitor has a big job in these motors. Its main job is to help the motor start. It provides extra starting power, or torque. Torque is just a fancy word for turning power. With motors, its main job is to help the motor start. It provides extra starting power, or torque. Torque is just a fancy word for turning power. Where do you find these capacitor start motors? Well, they are in a lot of tools and machines. Think about the tools you might have in your workshop. Table saws often use them. They need that power. Drill presses, too, rely on them for tough jobs. Air compressors almost always have capacitor start motors. Even some bigger household items like fans or pumps might use one. They are really good for any machine, especially immediately, under a heavy load. Why are these motors so common? It's simple. They have great starting power. That's their number one advantage. This means they can get heavy things moving quickly. They are also pretty reliable motors most of the time, that is, if you take good care of them and do proper maintenance. Understanding how they work is a big help. It helps you figure out what's wrong when they break. It's not black magic, folks. It's just good, solid mechanics and a bit of electricity, right? One of the most obvious signs is the motor won't start. This is a clear problem and you can't ignore it. You go to flip the switch, you expect action, and then nothing happens. Or maybe you hear a small click. But the motor shaft, the part that should be spinning, doesn't turn. This is preventing it from doing its job. We need to figure out what that is. And remember, don't try to force from the motor. Hear that hum? That's usually not a good sound. It often means the motor is getting electrical power. It's stuck there, trying its best, but getting nowhere. This often points directly to a problem with the capacitor. Or, it could be that the start switch isn't working like it should. The motor is basically crying out for help. You need to listen to it. Sometimes the motor starts, but it starts very slowly, or it runs weak. It used to be a powerhouse, full of strength. Now it really struggles to get going properly. Electrical short circuit, or it might mean a bearing has seized up inside. Safety first, always. Don't ever ignore these kinds of danger signs. First things first, safety. Always safety first. Before you even think about touching anything on that motor, unplug it completely from the wall outlet. Make absolutely sure there's no power going to it. Electricity is no joke, folks. It can hurt you badly. We want to fix the motor, right? We don't want anyone getting hurt. So, power off. Double check it. Then check it again. Got it? Good. This is step one and it's not optional. Next, let's check the power supply itself. It's basic, but important. Is the power cord to the motor okay? Look for cuts or damage. Is the plug in good condition? No bent prongs? Then check the outlet it's plugged into. Try plugging a lamp or another small device into that same outlet. Make sure the circuit breaker for that outlet hasn't tripped. Or if you have an older system, check if a fuse is blown. Sometimes the fix is this simple. The motor needs full, proper power, right? Now let's inspect the capacitor. This is a very common culprit. You'll need to find the capacitor on the motor. It's usually a cylinder-shaped part. Or sometimes it's an oval shape. It's often mounted right on the side of the motor casing. Look very closely for any signs of physical damage. Is the capacitor case bulging outwards? Is it leaking any oily substance? Are there any visible cracks on its surface? Does it look burnt or discolored? These are all bad signs. It usually means the capacitor is dead or dying. It needs replacement. Finally, you might need to test the start switch. This can be a little bit trickier than the other steps. The start switch, often called a centrifugal switch, has a key role. It disconnects the start capacitor and the start winding. This happens once the motor gets up to about 75% of its running speed. If this switch is stuck closed, the capacitor can burn out quickly. If it's stuck open, the motor probably won't start at all, or just hum. You might need a multimeter to test its continuity, or sometimes you can hear it click. So there you have it. We've gone through the basic troubleshooting steps. First, it's really important to understand your motor. Know that it's a capacitor start motor. That's key. It needs that capacitor for the initial big push to get it spinning. Knowing this simple fact is honestly half the battle won. It helps you think clearly and logically about what could possibly be wrong with it. This understanding is important before you even pick up a tool. Then, you need to look for the clues. Listen to your motor. The motor often tells you what's wrong, if you pay attention. If it just power supply, these are the easy things to check first. Next, carefully inspect the capacitor. It's a very common part to fail. After that, if needed, you can check the start switch operation. A step-by-step methodical approach always works best. It stops you from missing something obvious. It saves time in the long run. Be methodical, be thorough, don't cut corners. And remember, if you're ever in doubt, call a professional. If you're not comfortable doing any of these checks, or if the problem seems too complex for you to handle, don't take unnecessary risks, especially when dealing with electricity. A good qualified professional can fix it right, and they can fix it safely. But now, with these tips, you know